No,
Single,
no, no,
life,
no,
life, life,
no,
life,
no,
life.
no, no,
We bout that
no,
single, single,
no, no,
single,
no,
single, life, life,
no,
life.
no.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? I know you guys are looking at our cartoon faces. How do you like our new look? Guys, we trying some different stuff this morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Breakfast with the Brookses. Let us know if you like the cartoon characters of Glenn P. Brooks Jr. and Cherie Brooks Jr. What's going on, everybody? Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are super excited to have everybody. And do me a favor really quickly while we are warming up. We about that single life. If you are single, if you are dating, if you are engaged, put that in the chat right off the break. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Happy birthday, Linwood. Good to see you in the room.
Linwood.
Good to see you in the room. How y'all like our new logo? How you like it? Let us know. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Big shout out to Triton Animation for hooking this up for us. I'm going to show y'all a little secret real quick. I don't know how it would work, but let's check it out. Ha 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 ha.
Hey,
There
guys.
you see us. And now you don't.
Oh gosh.
I love it. I've
He
got
has
new
a
toys.
Toy, guys.
Here you go. Now you can't see us. Oh, now you can. Great morning, everybody.
You wanna
It's
do it
good to
one
see
more
you.
time?
I'm gonna do it one more time,
One
just for
more
fun,
time.
just for
One-
kicks,
one
just for
more
kicks. Here you go. Now you see us. Now you don't. Hey, if you guys like it, if you
Hey,
guys
guys.
like it, let us know.
Good morning,
Welcome,
good
welcome,
morning.
welcome, welcome to Breakfast with the Brookses. Obviously, I'm Glenn P. Brooks Jr. cutting up this morning, and we're getting ready to go live on Instagram in a second. I just wanted to get myself together. We're looking a little dark on the screen down here. Don't worry about that, baby, because it's going to be fine. We just need to look right here. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
You good?
I'm good.
I haven't even had coffee this morning. I'm all excited.
You're a little special today. You're a little special today. It's okay.
It's okay. We're talking about a special subject today. For those of you guys who are just jumping in the room, I am Glenn P. Brooks Jr. I'm an author. I'm a speaker. I'm a coach. And sitting here next to me is the lovely light skin.
Cherie Brooks Jr. Great to be with you guys this lovely Saturday morning. Prayers up for all of those of you that are in the Florida area.
Yes.
We've been watching the weather and we are praying for you guys. That,
Absolutely.
The storm will hopefully go another way.
Go another way.
For those of you, if it does hit, that you guys will be safe. Hope you guys are prepared to evacuate if you need to, or that you're ready to shelter in place.
Yeah. Hope you got your water, got your batteries, got your chargers, everything charged up and ready to go. We live here in Virginia Beach, and so we know a little something about weather, a little something.
We don't get
nearly hit like you guys do, but I certainly understand the whole prep stuff. So let's just shout out a couple people who are jumping in. Karen, good to see you. My single sister. So we've already got people dropping in the chat that they're single. Guys, if you are single, if you are dating, and or if you are engaged, today's conversation along over the next couple of weeks is kind of going to be geared toward life in that lane.
Right, and also if you have friends that are single, share this out so that they can join in on the conversation. This is going to be an interesting conversation. You know, we've been married now for 20 years.
Yep.
So we haven't been single for a minute, but
Yep.
because we deal with people, we coach, we're relationship coaches.
Yeah, we do a little bit more than deal. We do life with people
Right.
who are in this space, and really they're trying to figure out what they need to figure out in order to move their relationship forward.
Right. We get to see some of the issues that they're facing today in the year 2019.
Yeah, wow. It'll be 2020 soon. Here's what I'm learning. We have not started Instagram, so let's take a pause really quickly and start our live with Instagram. Give me 1 second, guys.
We don't want to leave the Instagram folks out.
Great morning, Instagram. Listen, I almost left you guys out. When you come in, do me a favor. If you can hear us live, just give us a thumbs up. We should be good. I know that we're talking right here. Do me a huge favor, guys. If you are tuning in by way of Instagram, go ahead and put your government name down there in the chat. Because y'all on Instagram, y'all jokers be having some different handles. And I'm like, who that? Come to find out it's my cousin. You know what I'm saying? Somebody I know, but I don't know your handle. So for those of you guys who are jumping in on Instagram, welcome to Breakfast with the Brookses. We're super excited to have you. Today, we're going to be talking about that single life. Today, we're going to be talking about what communication looks like in the single life. And I'm telling you right now, I think that although the times have changed, baby, there's no question about that. We're super clear on that. Oftentimes, what I'm realizing as a relationship coach, the methods or the skills that it takes to be able to make this thing work have not changed.
Right, right. And I think that people have lost touch with the art of communication, in today's age with, all these social media, all these different platforms that people communicate with. I think that people forget you could have people are dating online, which is great, which is awesome, but I think that people forget that, if you wind up coming together and get married, if you've only communicated by text, only communicated by email, what does that look like to really communicate with a person face to face?
Right.
When you got to deal with hard issues.
Yeah, and I think that, and I don't want to come across at all like the old people railing against the new system.
No.
That's what that's not, and I want to make sure that I'm clear. But baby, we have, like, I'll give you an example. Your brother, and there have been several people that we know have experienced dating and then marriage from having met people online.
Right.
Right? And there was a time 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, that was not nearly as prevalent as it is right now. But one of the things that we discovered is that you still are going to have to do life together, face to face. And so how you start, a lot of times, is how you're going to finish or how you're going to end up.
Right, and
when the communication is off, we're going to talk about his situation a little bit in terms of what we've learned just by watching him do something very different. Your brother's 2 years older than you. And the truth of the matter is that he has a really successful marriage today, but they had to learn some things, and I'm watching them grow in that area. I'm really proud of how they're maturing. It really is amazing watching their process.
Right. And even I'm just thinking of, I can't think of the name of the show. That show, you always say the stupid show I watch on TV.
Oh my God, it's was it the 90 Day Fiance?
90 Day Fiance or something. Oh God.
Since suddenly married or
something.
Whatever it
shows,
is.
There's this one couple on it. We're going to talk about that today too.
So
I'll give you guys a little more detail.
So if you are in the chat right now, listen, do me a huge favor, tag somebody, share it out. If you're on Instagram, hit the arrow, share this out with somebody. Today we're going to deal with just sort of a broad view, and then we're going to drill down and get really, really specific. On the front end, what I would like to know, and I would like to deal with this as we go, what struggles are you having in the area of communication? Whether you are single, whether you're dating, whether you're engaged, even if you are married, what struggles are you having when it comes to communication? We are doing a workshop. It's a premarital coaching intensive in October here in Norfolk, Virginia. And we're going to help people with what we're calling a 2-day intensive.
Right.
It's going to be an opportunity for us to get together with you guys live in person and be able to go through and drill down on some things that, quite frankly, most people will not really talk about.
Right. There are some topics that they kind of skirt around in their relationship, either because it makes you uncomfortable or you don't know how to broach the conversation. But these are conversations that need to be had.
Absolutely.
Before you say I do.
So let's start there real quick, baby. Hold that point. Conversations that need to be had before you say I do. Put it in the chat. Conversations that need to be had before you say I do. Keep going.
You asking them to put topics?
No, just topics. Topics. Yes, I'm sorry. Let me get clarity.
That you think need to be
had. That you think need to be had before you say I do.
Right, because oftentimes what happens if you don't have these conversations before you say I do, you get married, and then a situation occurs, and you realize that you both are on two opposite ends. You have different viewpoints on this topic, and this is like a major issue once you're married.
Yeah.
Now, when you were single, when you were dating, even when you were engaged, it wasn't an issue because you were in two separate households. You guys had, there was a level of separation.
Yeah.
But once you come together, whether it's dealing with your children, whether it's dealing with finances, if it's dealing with sex, if it's dealing with, there are several different things that if you guys don't have these conversations before, it's going to create a major problem. I mean, even things down to, like, for us, I can say, like, my parents are older.
Excuse me.
And so as my parents got older, they started to experience some health challenges. If Glenn didn't know that, for me, that family was a major value of mine, when it got to the point that they got sick, and I'm like, we need to move to be closer to them, that would have been a major issue, because he would have been like, what are you talking about? We're not doing that. And even then, he gave me a little resistance. But that's because he was comfortable where we were. But because he knew that was a value of mine, and we had that discussion over the years, there was no real fight in that, and we were able to do what needed to be done. But if you are married to somebody and you guys never have those type of conversations before,
right,
and that issue comes up, I mean, it could be your child gets sick or something. You have an adult child and they go through something in your mind. You're like, well, if they're struggling, it's okay for them to come back home. But your spouse is like, no, once they gone, they gone. They ain't coming back.
Absolutely. Here. I was just having a conversation with a young lady in our coaching community yesterday, and she was talking about how she's been married before. She's dating now. She's single now, looking towards getting married. And she says she realizes coming through our community, she never recognized how important values were,
right,
or what her values are. And so she has a friend who has a particular viewpoint on some things that really kind of cross her value boundary. And as a result, she was able to tell this brother, listen, we're great friends, but know that that's all this is going to be, because we don't see eye to eye on issues that are significantly important to me.
right.
And I'm not judging, but what I am saying is that I can't spend the rest of my life with someone with that value. Now, it's
right,
not what you think. It's not your opinion. You actually value that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I have so much respect for what you value that I'm not going to mess up our friendship,
right,
by saying yes to you and marrying you because I know I don't value that.
right.
And that's what it really boils down to, guys. So we're talking about singles. We're talking about people who are dating, and people are already starting to put some things in the chat we're going to talk about today. This is going to be about you guys. Here's what we're really clear on. It's been 20 plus years since Cherie and I have been single ourselves. When we were single, times were very different. You did not have the advent of the internet being such a critical part of everybody's life. When I think about how important the internet is today, I do business on the internet. We live online. All of us do. And so that is what it is. And I actually love the tool, but I still think that there are some fundamental things that if you don't learn in real time, in real life, as opposed to a, quote, virtual life, you will struggle when your virtual life becomes reality.
Right. And also, when we're talking about communication, we're not necessarily... We're talking about issues, particular topics you need to have a conversation, but just your communication skills.
Yep.
The way that you communicate can be an issue. So there's the show I was talking about that I watched. I can't think of the name of it.
They put it in the chat. It's 90 Day Fiance.
Okay, 90 Day Fiance. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
So there's this one couple.
That's crazy.
They were dating online
What's
for
up,
like
Queen?
4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then he flew her to England.
Yes.
They had never been in the same space together. They had never seen each other face to face in person before. So
right.
She comes over. Number one,
they've been talking for 4 years.
Online for 4 years. So in her mind, number one, she's thinking they're like already in a real relationship. And he's like, he wants to bring her over so that they can see how they get along.
Yeah.
And so what happens is that he does not realize, because they've had great conversations over the internet. They've been having great conversations. It's been stimulating conversations.
Yeah.
And he learns very quickly that this woman is an emotional basket case.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically he's being a perfect gentleman. He gets her own loft to stay in. He's not expecting them to sleep together or anything. And her feelings get hurt because she's extremely insecure. And she's sitting here, she just breaks down. And he's like, oh my God.
Like,
she's
what's
like
the problem?
Emotional. What's wrong with her?
Right.
Because she does not know how to communicate what she's feeling or what she's thinking without going to 10.
Right.
I mean, she's sitting there sobbing. And
yeah.
He's like, what the heck did I just do?
So much so that it actually scares him.
Right.
It actually is causing him to press pause. And I think that there's so many people that lose in relationships, baby,
mm-hmm.
because it's not that the thing couldn't go well.
Right.
It's that you did not communicate effectively on the front end. And there are a bunch of reasons why that happened. As coaches, we see it all the time. Big shout out to Queen, who joined us on Instagram. Appreciate you, sis. Do me a favor. Tell me what your government name is so I can address you personally. And hit the arrow, share it out for us. Let people know you're on Breakfast with the Brookses. We're talking about communication, particularly in the area of dating, single, and engaged life. Going back to that story, Cherie, this brother is scared.
Right. He's terrified because he's like, this is not the person I've been talking to we've been texting and emailing.
Absolutely.
It's like, but the truth is, because they never spent any time together, because they never had any face-to-face conversations. I mean, they Skyped or whatever, but that's not the same. When you're in somebody's presence, they're going to see your emotions.
Right.
When you're behind a screen, you can hide your emotions.
Oh, you can hide a whole bunch of things. How about y'all are only seeing the view that we show you?
Right.
You don't know what my bedroom looks like. You don't know what my office looks like. You don't know what I'm wearing on my feet, by the way. They are my special. If anybody knows
Jesus.
me, Crocs is going to have to give us a sponsorship at some point because I could wear these all year. I swear. But you wouldn't have known that. I know that's probably too much information for people, but you wouldn't have known that had I not showed you.
Right.
My point.
Right. So you get to hide in those type of environments. And so what you have to do, and this is, I'm very proud of my brother, with him and his wife now, Freddie, when they were dating, they met online.
Yeah.
But he purposed very early, after they had been dating online for maybe a month or two, he went to go see her in person.
Yeah.
So that they could see each other, spend some time together, face to face.
Before they continued
and then
online.
He came back and they continued online, and then he would go again, and he went and he met her sons, and he did it in steps, but he got to touch and see her face to face and see, are you really the person that you are on the screen?
Absolutely.
In real life.
Absolutely.
Before he pops the question, is like, hey, let's get married, let's move together.
Yeah, or whatever.
And so, but he took the time to do that instead of just doing this thing totally virtual. And I think that, unfortunately, for some people, and I know that, the person, like in the case on the show, okay, he's across the pond. But I'm not dating somebody for 4 years online and don't get to have a real conversation face to face, because you have to remember that people get to hide in those situations and you don't get to see how a person really responds.
Exactly.
Because you can have an argument online, but they can hide in the sense that they can be like, you ever had a conversation with somebody on the phone and the phone disconnects and they call you back, oh, I'm sorry, I lost the signal. They hung up on you.
Right.
Because they had to get themselves together.
They had to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? So I want to go to the chat really quickly. No, babe, you're right. And I think that when you do things in stages, what happens is you learn things in stages. Put that in the chat. When you do things in stages, you learn things in stages. I think the biggest challenge, and trust me, we are going to pull this apart every which way we can over the next couple of weeks. But I really want to slow down. I want to sort of kind of get into the mindset of people who don't communicate well. I want to talk just freely, and I don't have any notes today. This is nothing prepared. We just wanted to come and share our hearts with you guys, because the mindset of a person who is communicating ineffectively is a specific kind of mindset, and they communicate from that perspective. And one of the things that I want to talk about is this idea of protecting myself.
Right. And I was going to speak to that. Like, for me, when we got together, I was not a communicator. I grew up in a house. I grew up as a child in a home that people did not communicate. You didn't talk. You ain't talking about nothing. Ain't no issues. We ain't talking about that.
Don't nobody say no. Don't nobody move. Won't nobody get hurt.
And then even in my first 2 marriages, there was not healthy communication in those relationships. And so I was accustomed to just holding stuff in, partially out of fear of rejection, because I felt like if I said what I was really feeling, that the other person wasn't going to take it well. I also was fearful that if I was bothered by something or hurt by something, if I brought it out, because I had only seen people express things that they were in disagreement with, it was in an angry manner. It got violent. Right. That was my only example.
Or silent.
Right.
And I grew up and people would just flat out shut up and not say nothing.
And so I was...
Hey, Tiara, good to see you on Instagram, babe.
I was fearful that if I shared when I was bothered about something, that my anger, that it would escalate, because I had been in a physically abusive relationship before. And so for me, it was all fear-based. So I didn't talk because I was scared. I was scared of how it was going to be received. I was scared of how how it was going to come out. And so I would just be like, well, I'm just not going to say nothing. I'll just hold it in.
So we're talking about the mindset of people who communicate ineffectively, right? Tiara just jumped in on IG. Do me a favor, y'all, share this out. Michonne is going ham in this section. Michonne, we're going to come to those comments, because I want you guys to continue to chop it up in the comments, because we see them moving, but I want to establish a rhythm, and then we're going to come back and kind of chop it up with you guys and talk. So continue to engage each other. But baby, when you start talking about the perspective of people who do not communicate effectively, oftentimes it's coming from a place of protection. So for you would not communicate because of fear.
Right.
Your fear was that people would blow up, or they would get angry, or maybe become distant.
Right.
My fear was that they wouldn't like me. So growing up, I was a people pleaser. I pleased people Tiara, in order to feel good about myself. And when you are dealing with an adult that will say yes to you when they really mean no, you're going to have a problem. Online, I'm saying, yes, I will meet you at this time, at this place, and we will talk online. And I am breaking my neck to keep that appointment because I'm afraid that if I don't show up or if I'm late or if I have to reschedule, that you're not going to like me anymore. Does that make sense? And until you deal with that mindset, you're going to consistently communicate from that vein. And here's the challenge. Remember we said earlier, when you learn things in stages, you can do things or execute in stages. Or the way I put it was, when we do things in stages, we learn things in stages. So for instance, there was a stage in my life where I would say yes when I really wanted to say no. I am doing things in that stages. I'm also learning in that stage that gets me certain things.
Right.
One of the things that saying yes to people is get you a lot of friends.
Or so you think.
Or so you think. It gets you a lot of people who, quote, like you. They love being around you. Why? Because you're super supportive. You're always there. You never say no. If y'all ever notice with children, children like people who don't say no.
Right.
If you're a person that says no, you're mean. If you have a teacher as a child, or a gran and papa as a child, and you don't say yes to every little thing, it's, oh. When you ask them, how do you like your teacher? Oh, I love she's so nice. Why is she so nice? She lets me do whatever I want. The minute you start saying no, the minute you start putting up boundaries, the minute you start revealing who you really are or how you really think or what you really care about, I promise you, you are going to ruffle some feathers. People are going to perceive you as who you really are. Here's the good news.
That's good.
You don't have to now reveal that to them later.
Right.
And so we're talking to singles. We're talking to people who are dating. Listen, Cherie and I, and we didn't drop the website, but we're going to go ahead and put it up now for those of you guys who are joining us by way of YouTube. For those of you guys who are on Instagram, go to www.thecrcoach.com. That's THECR as in constant relationship. Coach.com. We are doing an event October the 11th and 12th here in Norfolk, Virginia, and it's a premarital coaching intensive. We're calling it The Road to I Do, a weekend you'll never forget.
But this is for you even if you're single, if you're dating, or if you're engaged. For those of you that are single and dating, this is to help prepare you, because remember it says the road to I do. So this is not after you say I do.
This is not while you're on the road,
right.
meaning this is not just for people who are engaged. You got a date, you got a boo,
right.
You got your dress.
There's some things you want to learn before you even get to that phase.
Right.
And so this is for those individuals as well. It's not just for engaged couples.
So when I was single, I would have loved for someone to tell me the real deal about what I would encounter when I said I do.
Right.
No one told me that. Now, here's what I do know. When you get married at 20 years old, can't nobody tell you nothing.
No, can't nobody tell you nothing.
My mother's question to me was, so is she pregnant? You know what I'm saying? Old school. Old school, right?
Why y'all rushing to get married? Is she pregnant?
Is she pregnant?
How about, no, we just in love.
How about we in love? We in love. You know what the real truth was?
I was in love.
All my saved people will understand this. I got tired of hearing the preacher, because I went to the Pentecostal jump. It's better to marry than to burn.
Where you gonna burn?
Look, Cherie, we're not dealing with the balance of that yet. I'm talking about my story. You got to be quiet. Y'all hear her jumping in on my stuff? Tiara, you got to tell everybody in Norfolk, Tiara, listen, it's a limited amount of people. We're only going to take a few people because this is going to be real intimate. It's the CR Coach, Tiara, THCRcoach.com. But thanks for putting that in the chat. Y'all, I'm sitting in church every Sunday morning talking about, I like having sex. Now, I'm just going to be dead real. This single man, 20 years old. Now, I like having sex. And I'm having sex. But I love Jesus. and I got a problem. There's this divide here. There's this chasm. Like Jesus is over here saying you should abstain until you get married, and I'm saying, okay, I got you, Lord, but I like having sex. And so, y'all hear the dynamic? I'm going back and forth. Well, at this particular point, all I need to do is hear a scripture that says it's better to marry than to burn. I'm like, oh, we got to get married. Because here's the deal. Because I don't have any self-control, and I'm going to have sex, or I'm going to want sex. And she looking at me like, really? No, really. And that was the premise of what motivated me to go to that next level so quickly, disregarding everything else in the room. Hence, 12 years later, we end up in divorce. Not because I have done anything external, although I did plenty. It was what was going on internally.
Right. And for me, I got married the first time at 19. I didn't get married because I thought I was going to burn or go to hell because I was having sex.
Because you wasn't growing up in church, so you wasn't hearing all that.
I didn't know.
You wasn't hearing all that. It wasn't confusing you.
I was in love. We was in love. But nobody told me that I was not mature. We're not talking about the whole story.
Oh, that's right. Now I'm all in your story. My bad.
Nobody told me that I was not mature enough, or that he wasn't mature enough. We weren't ready for marriage.
Yeah.
There were things we didn't know.
Yeah.
That we had no idea.
Yeah.
For us, marriage was just an extension of dating.
Yeah.
At that point when we got married, and so every other week we breaking up. But we married. It's
right.
Like you can't do that when you're married. It's like I don't like you no more. I
quit you.
But nobody told us. We didn't know.
So you don't get to quit. Bro, no. There's look. There's no crying in baseball.
Right.
You don't get to quit.
Right. We didn't know how to handle conflict. We didn't know. We just did. There were so many things we didn't know.
Yeah.
And I mean, even though I was young, and I think there are some people that are young that are mature enough that maybe are ready for marriage. So I'm not even going to base it on the age thing, because there are 50-year-olds that are not mature enough to be married.
Yeah.
I think that...
Please say that again.
There are 50-year-olds, 60, 70-year-olds that are not mature enough to be married, because there are some things that you have to know about yourself.
Right.
And somebody put in the chat before, in the feed, about, what are you doing to work on yourself? I think you have to know yourself. You have to have done some self-development on yourself to be as whole as an individual before you get married.
Yep.
But what happens often, nobody pulls your coattails and say, hey, sweetie, slow down, or hey, dude, you need to slow down. Y'all not ready.
Mm-hmm.
That whole burn thing.
Right. I know that must. Right. I get you.
It's a matter of being ready.
Right.
It's not, I don't think that you have to be ready, and there are things that you can do to be prepared, and those are some of the things we're going to talk about in this workshop.
So let's talk about that, guys. So again, if you are in and around the Hampton Roads area, maybe you live in DC, maybe you live in Richmond, maybe you live, say, in the parts of North Carolina, Raleigh, Rocky Mount, all within a 3-4 hour radius of a drive. If you want to jump on a plane, Norfolk International is not far from where we're going to be. We encourage you to go to thecrcoach.com. If some of you guys want to hop over to IG, Nikkei, maybe Linwood, if you're listening, Teresa, hop on over to IG, Breakfast with the Brookses, and put that in the chat. Post a website. It's www.thecrcoach.com. I want you guys to do that. Also, by the way, you can get the link in the description. I'm sure that there's a link somewhere in the description about where you can go. But here's what I want to talk about. We are talking about telling the truth. We are talking about communicating effectively. We talked about earlier the mindset of a person that communicates ineffectively. I want you to drop in the chat what has been your mindset and what is wrong with telling the truth. What has been your mindset and what is wrong with telling you the truth? Let me give you a principle. There's this principle in dating and in life, and many of our parents taught us this, to quote, put your best foot forward. And anybody who knows me, who's coached with me, knows how I feel about that statement. Oftentimes, your best foot is your fake foot. I want y'all to hear this really, really clearly. Oftentimes, your best foot is your fake foot. It's the foot, I'll put it this way, your best side is your fake side. Your best side is the side you want people to see. It's not the side that you want. If you got a flaw somewhere, if you've got something that, for years, I would not cut my hair very short because I had a fear of how my head was shaped. Just real talk. When you grow up in South Baltimore and you got mean kids talking about you bad, talking about, oh, look at that kitchen and look at that head and his head's so big and this, that, and the third. When I started getting old enough and I started losing my hair, I wasn't about to cut it. Because the fear of what people would think about me rode me to the point that I couldn't speak truth to myself. What was the truth? The truth was I was losing my hair. What was the truth? The truth that was it wasn't coming back. What was the truth? The truth is that people are going to either A, accept me for who I am, or B, they are not. Whether my hair is long, short, bald, whatever, they are. Now, the other truth is, do you like that look of losing your hair? Receding hairlines up to here, big spotches in the middle. Do you enjoy that? The answer was no. So I had two choices, and I know this is funny. You can laugh, Cherie. It's okay. I'm okay.
I like your bald head.
You like my bald head?
Yes,
I know it. Even if you didn't like it, I would still keep it bald. I love my bald head. But the point I'm making is, guys, is that I had to accept the truth that I was okay. I was okay regardless as to what people were thinking. And I think, unfortunately, when you're dealing with the mindset of a person who doesn't communicate effectively, you're dealing with not only fear, you're dealing with people pleasing, but you also are dealing with perception, how you perceive yourself. And because of that, guys, you're not going to show up and put your best foot forward because you already perceive that you're a loser. You already perceive that you're not good enough. You already perceive that, there's slim pickings out there and I gotta kind of take what comes down the pipe. Wrong. So singles, people who are engaged, people who are dating, let me help you understand. There's 7 billion people on the planet. There is someone out there for you. But here's what's going to be a problem. You keep putting fake out front, you're going to keep attracting fake. Cherie, do you get it?
Yes.
Yeah, I know you're talking to people and all that stuff. She's sharing stuff. Listen, I need you guys to understand that. When you put out fake, that's one of the things I loved about you when we met.
Right.
I met the real you off the break.
Right. I was at a point that
Lord Jesus. I don't know if I was ready, but I met the real her off Jump Street.
Right. When we met, I was at a point that I had said I was done with relationships, to be honest, because I had just come out of my second failed marriage. And I just was focusing on me and focused on being me. And I had gotten to the point where it was like, I'm not putting on airs anymore. If somebody meets me and I'm in a grocery store with some baggy sweats and a scarf on my head, then I'm fine with that because they're going to meet with the real me. I never was a person that, well, I won't say never. When I was younger, I did a lot of makeup and all of that. But I had gotten to the point where I had learned to accept me for me. And my whole thing at that point was that if they couldn't accept me for me, the whole me, the complete just me at my rawest form, then they weren't willing to deal with me. And that even included to the point that even when we would spend time together, I wasn't putting on airs or putting my best foot forward. And I think that people often confuse putting your best foot forward with, that doesn't mean that you can't, present yourself well. I'm not saying you gotta go looking all disheveled. I'm not saying that.
Ooh, I like that word.
You can, but let that be you.
Correct.
So if you don't normally do that,
then don't do it.
Do that, then don't
exactly.
do that.
That's a great way to put it, babe.
Just because you're going on a first date. If you don't normally wear makeup, if you don't normally, don't dudes.
Fellas, because I did this. Don't
go rent a BMW or a Mercedes for the date and you driving a Yugo.
Right. Bring it up to date. All my old school people understand that. Anybody younger than 40 will probably figure, what the heck did she just say? You driving just any
a hoopty.
A hoopty. Thank you.
You drive a hoopty, but don't fake it. Don't take them to Ruth's Chris when you really live on a budget of Applebee's.
Yeah.
Take them to Applebee's.
Yeah.
Don't portray yourself as somebody that you're not.
You trying to go to Bonefish Grill, but you got McDonald's money. I'm sorry. You get what I'm saying? How about you do it even up? You get real creative. Take your McDonald's money, take your behind to the grocery store, and then now go to a cooking class on YouTube. Learn how to prepare a meal, and for the money you spending at McDonald's, you can actually go prepare a meal, and I promise you, she'll be much more impressed because you put your hands to it. It costs the same amount of money. It's actually healthy and it's good for you, and you're not putting on airs. You learn to cook, and you can be real clear. Hey, I'm excited. Why are you excited? This is the first time I've ever tried this. I was excited about us getting together on a date, and I just thought I would provide. I always wanted to know how to cook, but where'd you learn that? Now y'all talking about stuff that ain't got nothing to do with anything surface. It's got everything to do with how you feel. You hear how I just switched that quick?
Right, and that goes for ladies who don't go out and go to someplace and pick up the food, bring it home, and put it on the plate like you cooked it if you ain't cooked it.
Come on now, because here's what we know. We're
now
going to find
think
out.
You can cook like that. And then y'all get together, and all you can do is boil some eggs.
Right, and you can have do that right. They crack sometimes. I'm still trying to figure out how to boil the eggs so they peel good every single time. I swear I think it's the egg, or the way it was refrigerated or something. Because I'll never get it right every 2 times in a row. I know that was a sidebar conversation.
But you don't burn them.
I don't burn eggs. No, I cook.
I know people that burn.
Oh, God bless America. So listen, we're going to go to the chat real quick before we get out of here. Let's see what people are saying. So Mashawn says, I am 53. I never married. It was always my dream to marry. But about 10 years ago, I realized it was a blessing because I wasn't ready. I did a lot of work on myself and became ready 4 years ago. Shout out to Mashawn.
Awesome.
That's amazing. That's what it looks like. Have to be happy and accept with who you are first before someone else can accept you. Tiara said that on Instagram. Tiara,
if you're not happy with yourself, if you are not content with yourself, if you can't accept yourself for who you are,
I feel sorry for whoever you date.
You can't look in the mirror butt naked and say, I love me.
Yep.
All my flaws, everything else. How can you expect someone else to love you?
If you body shaming yourself,
right,
then the person you dealing with ain't got nothing coming.
Right.
Because at this particular point, any little thing is going to exasperate what's already going around in your pretty little head. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? I don't like my butt. I don't like my hair. I don't like my jawline. Guess what? We all got something we don't like. Right. But here's what I know. I love me some me.
And that's funny because when we were dating, I remember
flaws and all. And I got some toes you do not want to see my toenails. I promise you. But I'm too much. Okay, my bad.
But when we were dating,
see what I'm saying?
When we were dating, you were very critical. Mm-hmm. And so I would get my hair done, and he wouldn't like how my hair done. I'd be like, okay, whatever. You don't like it, I do. Because I didn't care what he thought. Yeah. About, but
and I was bad. Boo, I'm sorry. Did I ever apologize?
I didn't care. It
was
fun. Yes, you did apologize.
You did apologize. That's
you
terrible.
Did apologize.
Okay.
But I was at a place where
yeah.
I was fine with me, so he didn't have to like it. If you
don't
like it, you can leave.
That's good. Ooh.
Because this is me.
Ooh. Did you just say if you don't like it, you can do what?
You can leave. And so, but you have to be in that place before you say I do, because that's where you have the option to choose. You have the option to make those statements before you say I do. If you don't get to know the person, get to really know the person until after y'all say I do, you could say yeah, you can leave, but you connected at that point. Yep. It's not that easy.
Yeah.
You know, you've made a covenant, you've made a commitment to that person at that point. But when you're dating a person, you see something about them you don't like, or they see something about you don't like, you got the option. The world is full of options. You get to say, you know what? If you don't like this about me, you can go, because this is me. Yeah. I'm not changing this part about me. Now, I'm not talking about if you mean and nasty. You need to change that.
Yeah, because we ain't talking about that, y'all.
But please. I'm talking about your
you got to accept me for me. I'm just mean and nasty. Oh, no, not here.
No, you ain't got to accept that.
Remember that time you ordered and you jumped on the poor waiter? Cherie was mean to some degree when we met, or at least she was mean to waiters and waitresses. She wasn't mean to me, but if they got the order late, if they got the order a little wrong, I don't know about this. I mean, what's that? What is that? I mean, she would be talking to the waiter. No, baby, it's not what is that. It is, can you help me? And she would be like, I said, listen, let me tell you something right now. I'm gonna just tell you right now this may have been date 1 or date 2.
It wasn't that early. Was it? I don't know.
I tell you what, I told you there wouldn't be another one. I wasn't playing with her. Because I'm saying that's just me. Does that make sense, guys? So we're not saying that your authentic self doesn't need to be tempered. That's not what, please put that in the chat. My authentic self can be tempered. But I don't believe that you need to necessarily change who you are for someone else. That's not what I'm saying. Because when we drill down to this, I can't wait. For those of you guys who are just jumping in, October the 11th and 12th, we're doing a workshop here in Norfolk, Virginia, Hampton Roads. I promise you, if you are in the area, you would do yourself a disservice not to be here October the 11th and 12th. But we're going to drill down on the hard issues that people do not want to talk about while they are dating, while they are engaged. And we're going to do it in a fun way. Y'all already see how we get down. It's not going to be any judgment, but it is going to make you think, because the truth of the matter is that just because authentic you is an angry person doesn't mean that doesn't need to be tempered. Well, now we're starting to get into your personality. Now we're starting to get into how you present. And I am not about to, for the sake of relationship, bring the full vent of my authentic self to the table because I'm feeling some type of way today. So I'm just going to say it. Well, it was the truth, wasn't it? No, come on now. You got to be in relationship with people. You got to treat people like you want to be treated. So I'm not saying that because I am a flamingo temperament and I tend to be forgetful, I'm not going to work on remembering. Mm-hmm. That's not what we're saying. So we're not talking about character issues. We're not talking about personalities. We're talking about character stuff.
Right.
So guys, if you're in the area, I promise you, you absolutely, we're going to do it downtown Norfolk, the Waterside District. We're going to have a Friday night social meetup. We're going to get together, grab some food, get to know each other. We're probably only going to take about 20 to 25 people through this small intensive. And our goal, we're going to record it. Our goal is to do it again and to be able to probably take it on the road to other cities. But we are going to have an absolute ball. And if you don't know about it, you want to know more about it, go to thecrcoach.com and it'll tell you all about it. Yes.
I just noticed a couple people going to backtrack for a minute. He was talking about the eggs. A couple people told you the trick is to put salt in the water. It'll make it peel.
Stop playing. I'm going to try that this morning. Wait a minute. Somebody, y'all listen, I got me a trick. I don't know who said that, but shout out to Nikkei
and LaRonda.
LaRonda. The trick to boiling a perfect egg so it peels every time is to put salt in the water when you boil it. I am going to try that today. Acres of Diamonds, you already know what it is. Your man going to boil some eggs today. We're going to figure that out.
Now, a couple people mentioned online too, and this is an issue, especially for women, that we don't typically have the conversation about. A couple mentioned, and this was a area for us too, when you talk about hair. Hair, for some reason, for some men,
yeah, talk about it,
has more significance than it should.
Talk about it.
My hair is on my head.
That would have been me.
It grows out of my head. It's my hair.
Yes.
And so that's something that you should have a conversation about in the relationship, because if hair matters that much to that person, because I look at it this way.
Talk about it.
And I asked Glenn this question before we got married.
If
something were to happen to me.
It's getting ready to get good, y'all. I just want to let you know. I'm getting my popcorn. Come on.
If something were to happen to me physically, I get sick, come down with an illness, whatever, and we couldn't have sex, could you still be with me? Or if you had to care for me? Ooh. That was a question I asked him before we got married. And the reason I asked that is because I realized that our bodies are what they are. Our bodies change. Our bodies, you can't predict what's going to happen with your body. Mm-hmm. But if that person is so attached to this image of you today, and they can't see that, they can't foresee that ever changing, whether it's weight gain after having babies, whether it's weight gain from age, whether it's
weight gain because your thyroid is jacked up,
right? Whether you just simply decide you want to shave your hair off, that can be a major issue. I have seen couples. We have seen couples go through major. It's like knockdown, drag out because a person their body changed for whatever reason. It could be from illness or whatever. Yep. And that other person is so stuck on, no, I like you this way. You need to stay this way. That one particular situation that led to the demise of their marriage.
It sure did.
Because that person would not give on that, and it's like, this is my body. This is not me.
Yeah.
I'm who's inside this. This is just a shell.
Correct.
And you're so attached to the shell that you can't move past that. So those are conversations that need to be had, and those are things that we don't think about, because you just like, you just going through life. You look up, you done gained 50 pounds, and now they looking at you crazy like, I don't love you no more. What do you mean you don't love me no more?
Right.
I don't love that.
Right.
Like, what
right.
that got to do with me?
Right. So guys, we've been going for a minute. Sheree done got. That's why I told y'all I was getting my popcorn because she was getting. She still was light with it. She didn't go in.
No.
But what I want y'all to do is I want you guys to begin, because here's what I want to do over the next couple of weeks. I want to talk about, particularly to those of you guys who are single. We didn't get a chance to drill all the way down. I'm gonna try and find one. But I want to know, what is your area of communication? Where are you challenged in communication? I know LaRonda had put something in there, and I wanted to talk about it, about how she was challenged in communicating. But I want to know, where are you challenged in communication? What subject matter do you find it difficult to talk about in relationships? Is it money? Is it sex? Is it
a lot of people say
finances? Okay, I want to know those, because we're going to talk about that. And we're going to children, guys, huge subject, huge communication breakdown barrier. We're going to really deal with this in our workshop. But we're going to talk about parenting, right? This idea of, where does your thoughts on parenting come from?
Do you want children, or do you not want children?
Do you want children? Do you not want children? And then how do you intend on rearing them? I know that I was not ready for your perspective 12 years into our marriage, almost 10 years, when we didn't start out the relationship with my son biologically living with us.
Right.
Your son by bonus living with us. He didn't start out that way. Right. We started out with Shantae, your daughter biologically, my bonus child. And I understood that. Well, when Justin was 12, his mother called me up and basically said, it's your turn. And just like it got silent right there, I was standing out in the front foyer of church on a Sunday. I know what it was. I was in ministry, and I was up at the church doing some work, and I stepped out. That's what it was. We had a meeting. Stepped out, and she said, it's your turn. I said, what are you talking about? It's your turn. You have been talking about you would like to have been getting him every other weekend forever. And I was like, he was cutting up here and there in school and all that. And I said, well, let me get him. Nah, he good. Well, I left that conversation alone because it was running up a brick wall and she wasn't budging. Well, a couple of years later, she calls me out the blue and says, it's your turn. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because in my mind, I resolved this would never happen. I would never have the opportunity to raise my son full time because his mother doesn't want that. And I'm not fighting her. We'll just do what we have to do. Well, I get the call. She says, it's your turn. I said, oh my God, I'm thinking I'm not ready. In this space in my life, you have to understand, I have left corporate America. I had left a 6-figure income to go into ministry. I was at the financial lowest point in my entire life up until that point. I was scared to death. And I'm like, and now you want me to take the turn? Well, I had the conversation with Sheree, and she was like, I don't know if I'm ready to be a full-time mother to a child who hadn't been here. And I was like, well, wait a minute. What do you mean you ain't, wait a minute? And now my mind going, you ain't had nothing to say when I came and I decided. That's what my mind said. But she said something that was very, did I say it out loud? Yeah. See, I was really ruthless back then. I'm sorry.
No, you needed to say it.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't mean to be. If I was rude, I'm so sorry. So, guys, listen. But long story short, I literally was like, we now have to sit down and talk. And here's the thing that rocked my whole world. And it let me in on how Sheree was thinking. She said, here's what concerns me. You are going through stuff now in your life where you're not here for us. Real talk. You are so focused on building this ministry. You are so focused on building people. You are so focused and driven. And I get where it comes from. It's not from a bad space. But Glenn, you don't have any balance in your life. For real. You have very few boundaries in your life right now. For real. I have a tough time getting you to want to just spend time with me. My concern is, what are you going to do with a 12-year-old that shows up with that mindset? Y'all, it caused me to put the brakes on. It was like, But here is why that did not go badly. Because we had a community and we had grown to a place personally and together where we could have a hard conversation like that. It wasn't that she didn't want to participate in raising our son. It was that she was concerned that I wouldn't do my job.
Right. And basically what I told you was that I was not going to be a single parent again.
Ooh. Whoa, I forgot that one. Jesus. Y'all get your coffee, because y'all need to wake up. Y'all ain't hear that. Say it again, baby.
I told you that I was not going to be a single parent again. And at the place where you
Dear
were,
Jesus.
I would have been being a single parent, raising a 12-year-old son who I had a great relationship with him, but that was not a full-time relationship, which I knew was not the same thing.
Yeah.
So I was he was gonna come and live with us. I didn't have that type of relationship with him. I won't say we didn't have a solid relationship. We didn't have that type of relationship on a day-to-day, and I would become a single mother trying to raise a child who was already rebellious, who was going through his own issues, and I wasn't going to do that.
And the truth of the matter is that I had a very thwarted perspective of what my real relationship with him was like.
Right, because
it was a weekend dad relationship. Right. And that's not the same as a full-time custodial parent. I'm so sorry. No disrespect to my weekend fathers, fathering from afar, weekend mothers, mothering from afar. I promise you, it is different than when them Bammers is in your house day in, day out, and your mind's got to be right for that. Well, babe, we've been going. So I just want to wrap it up right here. Next week, we're going to drill down on some of y'all's questions. We're going to get them answered. We're going to talk about what's real. This is just a snippet as to what you're going to get in this conference that we're doing in October. And again, guys, if you are in and around the Hampton Roads, Virginia area, we call it the 7 Cities, we'll actually be doing the event in Norfolk. We actually live in Virginia Beach, not far from where we're going to be there in Norfolk. But I want you guys to be there. The cost is nominal. It's per person. Please, if you are single, come. If you are engaged, bring your boo, your fiance. If you are dating, bring your boo thing. Because at this particular point, I want you guys to get to hear, and more importantly, get to put your hands on what it looks like to do the right work so that you last as your relationship grows. Most of you guys are doing some kind of work, or you wouldn't even be on this live. So much respect to you. This is not to throw no shade, but here's the problem. If you have worked hard to put your ladder up against a building that's burning, and you've called the fire department, you're up, and you put the ladder up for them when they get there, and you had them come all the way out, do all that work, come up and that ladder is on the wrong building. Now they got to come back down that ladder and go to the next building to go up that ladder in order to be able to fight that fire. And that's the way a lot of our relationships are looking. We're doing the right work in the wrong place. And the problem is that we're not getting the results. I'm going to leave y'all with this. If you're having challenges with communicating and what you're doing isn't working, and here's how you know the situation has not changed, that's how you know it ain't working, then you need this workshop. You need to come out to this premarital coaching intensive. You need the next couple of weeks. We're going to drill down on a few things, but we're not going to do it justice because there's going to be some hands-on, some real engagement, games. We're going to be doing it's a Friday night social. We're going to go to work. We're going to have a lunch where we're catering lunch the whole night. It's going to be nice, and I want you guys to be there.
Right, and I want to also invite those of you, if you realize that you have a hard time having those hard conversations, you know, you feel you're reluctant to talk about the issues that are really on your heart, but you want to be able to have those conversations, but there's something stopping you from having that. You want to learn how to be able to overcome that and have those conversations, because it's necessary if you're going to have a successful relationship for you to have those conversations. Come to this workshop. We're going to do some like he said, it's going to be a hands-on type thing. It's not going to be us just up there talking to you guys. We're going to take you guys through some activities to help you to be able to improve your communication skills. We're going to be talking about other things as well.
Yeah.
But communication is essential to having a healthy relationship.
It's the foundation.
Make no doubt about it. If you can't communicate effectively, then it's going to always hinder your relationship from going to where it could go.
Always.
And for those of you that are on live on YouTube today, as well as Instagram, please, if you have not already, please subscribe to our channel.
Please.
Be sure to ring the bell so that you get notifications when we go live, when we post videos. Also, just want to backtrack real quick. The last series we did dealing with time management, with managing your time, with reclaiming your time. I'm still going to be posting some videos. We just got caught up. Those videos will be posted soon on some tips and strategies to help you guys reclaim your time. But please subscribe.
Yep.
Subscribe to
We just went over the 400 subscription mark last week, so we're excited about that. Let's keep pushing the envelope, guys, because here's what I promise you, that if you're going to get to any place of significance, you can't get there by yourself. At the end of the day, we all need some help. Y'all be good. YouTube, we'll see you later. Make sure you subscribe, like it, share, and do what needs to be done, man.
We're going to do our little thing at the end.
You want to do our little thing at the end? We're going to sign out this way. But look, YouTube, we'll see y'all later. Breakfast with the Brookses every Saturday morning, 8 o'clock. Make sure you're there. At the end of the day, we all need some help. Y'all be good. We'll talk soon.
Bye, guys.